or you ask your teacher to go through it with you, so that when you go to, inshallah ta'ala, the Taraweeh, you can enjoy it.
No, bul worry, Ablay. Man, Afri Money la nekk. Yow tamit. Afri Money. Waaw di. Ma ne soo jëndee Afri Money dañ la may 150% bonus. Te lu si gën a neex mooy boo jëndee $50 di nga am $75 bonus credit. Ni nga def rek mooy da nga dial *777# nga register sa boppa mu laaj la sa tur. Nga def sa tur ak sa santa mu ibil la account bi.
Jëndal $20 credit ak sa Afri Money Buzz Voice ñu may la extra $30 AfriCell bonus credit. Dial *777# nga tànn ñaar ak yomba dawal dem seeti Afri Money agent bi la gën a jege wala AfriCell customer care nga deposit xaalis ci sa wallet bi nga tàmbalay bànneexu ci 150% bonus boo jëndee credit ci sa Afri Money ak sa Buzz Voice sa bonus di gën a yokk.
ñëpp ngeen bëgg lan ngeen bëgg ku leen di yëngal ku leen di yëngal
Good evening and welcome to the Saturday Newsroom. We broadcasting from studios in Kanifing along the OSC Road. I'm Maria Madam Seka and thanks for joining us. First with our headlines. The National Audit Office says audit reports are being prematurely published. GCCPC says 99% of complaints around consumer rights resolved. Vendors and consumers attribute Ramadan price hikes to lack of price control and appeal for government interventions. Stakeholders advocate for environmental compliance in Snowbank region. On international news, South Sudan violence such as political turmoil fuels deadly attacks and displacement. In the occupied West Bank, Israeli forces displaced Palestinian families in refugee camps. Those were the headlines and now the news in detail. Many thanks for joining us. Let's now take a look at the news in detail. Now, the National Audit Office said on Thursday that audit reports are being taken to the public domain for public consumption when they are yet to be completed. The NAO raised the concerns in a press conference today, emphasizing that such practices could distort factual information and undermine accountability. The National Audit Office of the Gambia, established by an Act of Parliament in 2015, is the supreme audit institution responsible for overseeing how government entities utilize public resources. On March 17, 2025, the Auditor General in a press release highlighted that recent discussions in media outlets regarding the special audit of the Independent Electoral Commission for the period 2020 to 2023 were premature, as the report had not been tabled at the National Assembly or discussed publicly. Instead, it was only shared with the Inspector General of Police for further investigation as mandated by Section 160, subsection 5 of the 1997 Constitution. The National Audit Office also pointed out that the financial audit of the National Assembly Service for 2022 was released while still in the preliminary query stage, and the consolidated financial audit for the Government of the Gambia for 2021 and 2022 was only at the draft management letter stage, with management responses recently received and under review. During the press conference on March 20, 2025, the NAO Communication Unit explained that the audit process involves multiple stages before a report can be finalized.
That we felt it was not the right time for the public to access this information because it has not gone through the oversight that it needs to go through for now the public to say, okay, we have information at in our hands that we can use to hold public officials accountable. And here I would want to bring us back to an audit exercise. An audit exercise is not merely you audit, you issue your report, and it stops there. Audit is meant to bring in change. It's meant to bring in improvements. And in our term, and maybe most of you that have attended our engagements, you always hear us talk about the audit impact. So this audit impact cannot be realized by you and me just maybe reviewing the report, of course maybe to some extent. But where we say we want to ensure that the audit recommendations are implemented, that is taxed to another oversight body, which is the National Assembly. So we feel that, and we've mentioned it in the audit, in the press release rather, if we allow the audit cycle to take its full course, then this audit impact that we yearn for, we can be assured that something will be done.
The preliminary findings, known as audit queries, are shared with the management of the audited institution for feedback. If unresolved, the NAO stated these queries are included in the draft management letter, allowing management to formally respond. Issues of significance may still appear in the final management letter. The National Audit Office emphasized that disclosing audit findings in the media before the audit process is complete not only renders the information premature but also risks distorting factual accuracy, ultimately impacting the accountability process. Stakeholders with access to audit information were reminded to refrain from sharing reports that have not been officially finalized.
etc., is impacting the lives of its citizens in one way or the other. And as I mentioned, that can only be done when the audit recommendations are implemented. And who are those that are tasked with that oversight is the National Assembly members. And as part of our stakeholder engagements, as an office, we have also identified this need, we have identified the gap, and because of that, we have, as part of our stakeholder engagement initiatives, also engaged the National Assembly and the Office of the Clerk around discussions to see how can we best improve on timely discussion of the audit reports for the timely publication. So, to summarize, in terms of this press release,
the NAO also urged media outlets to report accurate and professional information, recognizing their influential role in the accountability circle. The press conference also served as an opportunity to strengthen the relationship between the National Audit Office and the media, fostering collaboration in the pursuit of transparency and accountability. Maria Madem, reporting for Star TV News. The Gambia Competition and Consumer Protection Commission announced recently that 99% of all the complaints lodged to it about violation of consumer rights have been ironed out. The GCCPC is a statutory authority under the Ministry of Trade and Industry. Currently, 5 commissioners sit on the commission, and as the primary government body responsible for promoting competition and protecting consumer rights, the GCCPC operates under 3 key acts, namely the Competition Act 2007, the Consumer Protection Act 2014, and the Essential Commodities Act 2015. Laminba reports.
The Commission is tasked with ensuring that consumers are safeguarded from malpractices in everyday business transactions. Currently, there are insufficient laws in place to fully protect consumers. However, amendments are expected to take place by the end of this year to address these gaps. One of the initiatives being undertaken by the Commission is mediation, as stated by Alaji Sambu, Director of Legal Affairs and Enforcement at the GCCPC.
Will be ensued between you or the business and the business that you are aggrieved against. And normally 99.9% of complaints that are brought to the Commission are usually resolved through this ADR mechanism. And where it failed, then the cases will be forwarded to the tribunal. So this is also another step that we are currently taking to protect consumers from unfair and misleading market practices. Further, we are also doing a lot of collaboration with stakeholders, in particular with sector regulators. Because looking at the Commission, the regulatory framework of the Consumer Protection Act 2014 we are an overarching institution that regulates the rights of consumers.
The GCCPC official also assured that there is a fully functional redress mechanism available for all aggrieved consumers.
GCCPC emphasized the importance of a clear and friendly, readily available redress mechanism for all consumers that may be aggrieved of their actions or inactions. We encourage that all aggrieved consumers come to the Commission and complain wherever they are aggrieved. And the line that they can call on is 50,033, or you communicate through our info@gcc.gm.
The legal officer from the Competition Commission noted that withholding goods to create an artificial scarcity leading to unjustifiable price increases for consumers is unacceptable in businesses, as this practice is primarily aimed at maximizing profits. Although allegations of hoarding are often made, they frequently lack concrete evidence, as explained by Mr. Sambu.
Something that we have core mandate on when you looked into the Competition Act 2007. If a business is found hoarding, it's against the Competition Act and it is sanctioned. But the unfortunate thing is to have evidence of hoarding. There is always the allegation that businesses hoard products. But giving the Commission evidence of hoarding is what we always call for. We always call on whistleblowers that anytime they see evidence of hoarding by businesses, let them report, because hoarding is illegal.
The Commission also receives complaints regarding various services, including professionals such as mechanics and carpenters, who stand accused of failing to meet their contractual obligations. Lamin Ba, Star TV News.
Now, as Ramadan draws to a close, both vendors and consumers in the Gambia are voicing their frustrations over rocketing food prices, attributing the development to a lack of price control. They are now expecting some interventions from the central government. Many Gambians have been grappling with inflationary pressures in the food commodity market. Prices of staples such as sugar, cooking oil, and onions have gone sky high since the beginning of the holy month of Ramadan, and there is no indication that prices will go down anytime soon. 20 days into the holy month, known for caring and sharing, prices of food items are still galloping. Vendors and consumers at the Albert Market in Banjul said their experiences with Star TV regarding the rising cost of essential food commodities as Ramadan approaches its end. Maimuna Njai, a vegetable vendor at the Albert Market, expressed her concern over dwindling sales despite offering her goods at reasonable prices. Njai called on the government to support women entrepreneurs who rely on their businesses to provide for their families, emphasizing that without sales, they struggle to make ends meet.
Currently, our vegetables are reasonably priced, but sales have been disappointing. Many customers are opting to shop at area vendors or heading to Sarakunda instead. Just 2 days ago, I bought 2 pounds of tomatoes, but unfortunately, I had to throw them away because they have perished. I urge the government to create opportunities for us to sustain our families by providing capital to help us run our businesses.
Haji Kante, who sells essential commodities like rice and sugar, highlighted the need for price control. He believes that without government intervention to regulate prices, vendors' earnings and their ability to support their families will continue to erode.
The country needs a price control policy that set limits on how much vendors can charge for essential products like rice, sugar, oil, and onions. It shouldn't be left to vendors to raise prices at will. These price hikes affect not only consumers but also vendors who purchase from suppliers. Nowadays, customers are reluctant to buy when prices are high due to the current economic situation.
Another vendor, Nato Kanye, echoed these sentiments, stating that price hikes are not limited to basic food items, but extend to locally grown vegetables as well.
Bagage yi day cher essay fuñ tollu ni te fuñ tollu ni bagage bo laccé dafa cher te amna ñeneen yo xamantene amuñ xaaliss bo xamantene nañ mëna jënd bagage te ñun tamé dañ ko jaayé.
The prices of commodities are prohibitive, and many of us don't have the money to buy goods to resell. Those responsible for supplying these commodities need to lower their prices so that we can do the same for the benefit of everyone. If customers can't afford essential food items, they simply won't buy them. So this pricing issue needs urgent attention.
Consumers are equally frustrated. Amisar said her experience of navigating fluctuating prices in the market, which disrupts her budgeting. Sar pointed out that the lack of price control contributes to this inconsistency.
Secure a specific budget. Ngene suma demé li la jënda. Fekk xaalis bi yëpp correct na. Waaye soo demee ñu égal price.
As a consumer, you go out with a specific budget and everything seems fine. But once you reach the market, you encounter different prices that disrupt your entire shopping plan. This inconsistency is largely due to the lack of price control.
So they may lati kuda price itam ute. So hamna authorities that government waron nañu jël lolu ñu jël ko into consideration.
As the Gambia operates within a free market system, it continues to face challenges such as monopolistic practices and price fixing, which heighten the struggles of everyday consumers. With the burden of escalating food prices weighing heavily on citizens, there is a growing call for government action to stabilize the market and protect the livelihoods of vendors and make life livable for consumers. Maria Madem, reporting for Star TV News. The National Environment Agency has extended its regional tour to the North Bank region, continuing its mission to strengthen the enforcement of environmental laws and regulations following a recently ongoing nationwide enforcement campaign. Hadi Jaju is with the team and see files in this report.
Stakeholders emphasized the importance of adhering to these laws, urging citizens to play an active role in environmental protection. Speaking to journalists, Dembo Samate, Deputy Governor of North Bank Region, commended the NEA and the Gambia Police Force for their successful enforcement campaign. He called on residents to remain law-abiding, underlining the significance of environmental compliance for the region's well-being.
My message to the people of NBR, that is to tell them that we have to adhere to the law. When they say this is not good, let's all of us take our own responsibility to know that this is not good. But when the things are good also, we feel it. Because for instance, before, if you want to come from Banjul to NBR, we know how difficult things are. But with the route, with the good road we have, it's very easy to crisscross the region, even entire Gambia. So these are good things. But when we say plastic is not good, it can be in the sand for more than 1,000 years, as experts used to say it.
Senabu Martin Sanko, Chief Executive Officer of the Kerwan Area Council, highlighted the critical role of environmental laws in maintaining cleanliness and preventing environmental degradation. She urged women, as household leaders, to champion the cause of environmental hygiene.
Sometimes you go around the communities, you see that some of them will, even after doing their laundry, will take out the laundry water and just pour it on the road. Or take a rubbish from your house, go and dump it somewhere around the community. That itself is not healthy, because anything that comes out of that thing comes back to us in our homes. So that is why every now and then you see people suffering from all sorts of allergic reaction, cold, and related issues.
The call for environmental stewardship was further reinforced by Police Commissioner Julie Camara and Regional Environment Officer Hawati Busu, both of commitment to implementing environmental regulations, stressing the pivotal role of protecting the environment in fostering sustainable development.
My office would not relent in implementing any law that is brought before us for implementing. We will take the forefront and make sure that what is expected of us is done.
There is awareness campaign because penalties does not only make enforcement effective, but also sensitizing the public. When we are doing enforcement, we are not only looking at the penalties aspect, the fines we charge. We also try to create awareness campaigns on the impact of environmental pollution.
Community leaders, including the chief of Lower Batibu and the Alcalo of Kerewan, pledged their support for the NEA's mission. They vow to raise awareness within their communities about the dangers of environmental crisis and the necessity of adhering to the law. Officials clarified that these enforcement efforts are not intended to target citizens unfairly, but to address present environmental challenges. The NEA described 2025 as a year of enforcement, dedicated to tackling issues such as pollution, improper waste management, and the misuse of hazardous chemicals. The region across other regions, reinforcing the Gambia government's and NEA's commitment to fostering a cleaner, healthier environment for all. TV News from the North Bank region.
From that story, we'll take a short commercial break, and when we return, they just continue. Stay tuned.
777 hash 3. Wait, man, defal ma fi sa mitan. Ande puton mo yan. Tara nga.
jëndal cash power léegi te fayeeku ñu la ci dërëm Afrique Money rek nga ko mën a amee customer care boobu mën a doon deposit fa sa xaalis ñu delloo la ñu 77 star 3 hash nga yónnee mbaa nga call 777 ñu leeralal la.
Alive before stealing their possessions. The incident highlights the country's ongoing instability. Communities once living peacefully, now divided, despite reports.
They say they were driving home from a funeral form sprayed their car with bullets. The medic for more than a year, including soldiers. Often hungry, they demand money or food at remote checkpoints. This time, Amin told us the attackers threatened to burn them alive in the car before taking all their possessions.
We were trying to get out of the car.
And billions of dollars of oil revenue and villages deserted, driving to the town of Nzara after recent killings of civilians on the road. 7 years after a peace deal ended a devastating civil war, political turmoil and violence are rising. All of the community leaders are doing their best to try and reduce the tension. Rival Vice President Riek Machar.